Hello, everybody. We are back with yet another spooky season video. Today, we are making the fly ice cream from the official Hocus Pocus Cookbook. It is a no churn ice cream. It is a rum raisin flavored ice cream, which I am super excited to try. It looks really easy. It does look like it takes a little time to make in a way. The actual prep work for it doesn't look like it takes too long, but it does need several hours to freeze. Um, and then there are a couple different steps to this and everything. So it is something that looks like you want to give yourself enough time to make if you're going to make this. I have not made this before. This is another new recipe. Like I said earlier, I have not made too many recipes from the official Hocus Pocus cookbook. So I am really excited to give this a try. So let's get started. All right, so the fly ice cream really does not take that many ingredients. This is everything that we need right here. We have some sweetened condensed milk here. We have some rum. The recipe did call for spiced rum, but however, I did not have any. So I am just using what I have on hand, which this is an aged rum. We've got brown sugar, whipping cream, and I am using a little bit less whipping cream than what the recipe called for, um, just because I would have had a lot of leftover whipping cream that I wasn't going to use if I would have bought a bigger container. So I am using just a little bit less of the whipping cream, but it's still going to be fine. And then we've got some raisins here. Like I said, that is all that we need for our ice cream. So let's get started. The first thing that we are going to do is make our um, rum syrup. Um, so let's get started. All right, so for our rum syrup, we have the rum and the brown sugar in a little saucepan here. We are going to bring this to a simmer and then cook it for a little while till it's all nice and thick. Um, then we are going to let it cool. While it is cooling, I am going to move on to the next step. When I have the rum sauce done, I will be back. All right, so my sauce is done. It smells really good. It looks really good. The next thing I am going to do is to whip up my whipping cream. When I have that done, I will be back. All right, so I've got my whipped cream all beat up. I am going to add the sweetened condensed milk and fold that in, and I will be back. All right, so I got my sweetened condensed milk all mixed in. With the whipped cream, I did put it in a container here. I am going to put the lid on the container and let this freeze for 2 hours. After that 2 hours, I am going to mix in the rum syrup that I made, and we're going to mix in the raisins and then freeze it again for a couple more hours. And after that, it will be ready to eat. All right, so my ice cream mixture has been in the freezer for about 2 hours. I'm going to mix in the raisins and the rum syrup, and then I'm going to stick it back in the freezer, and it's going to freeze again for about 4 more hours before it's ready to eat. So let's get the rest of this mixed up. All right, so that is all mixed up now. It's looking really good. I can't wait to give it a try. I'm going to stick this back in the freezer. The recipe did say that it did have to freeze for a minimum of 4 hours, so I'm probably going to freeze it the rest of the day and give it a try tomorrow. and then finish up the rest of this video after that. Um, but after it's done and I've tried it, I will be back with my final thoughts. All right. All right. So the flight ice cream is all set. I did have it sitting in my freezer a little uneven, which is why it's not level in the pan, but it's going to be all right. I am going to give this a try, and when I am done eating my ice cream, I will be back with my final thoughts. All right, I am back with my final thoughts on the fly ice cream. I thought it turned out really good. I really liked it. I do think this is something that I will make again. It was super easy to make. Homemade ice cream is one of those things I don't tend to make a lot of, but I do make it from time to time. Um, Despite this being from the Hocus Pocus book, I think I would probably tend to make it more in the summer just because that's typically ice cream season. Um, but it was really good. It is something you do have to give yourself time to make, just because it does take time to freeze. Actually, making it wasn't bad, but like I said, you do have to give it time to freeze. Um, but it was really simple. If you do have the official Hocus Pocus book and you like rum raisin ice cream, I do recommend giving this a try, because I did think it turned out really good. Um, and like I said, I think I probably will make it again in the future, maybe in the summer, just because it's summer and ice cream is always good in summer. Um, so until then, good times, good food, and stay spooky.